Gather around, children. Grandpa is going to tell you the story of Dick Whittington and his cat. Once upon a time, there was a poor orphan boy named Dick Whittington. Dick had nothing to live on, and he was hungry every day. He heard that the streets of London were paved with gold, so he set out for London to find his fortune. When he got there, he saw that the streets were not paved with gold. All he found was hunger and misery. He could find no work, and no one would give him even a crust of dry bread. One day a kindly merchant found Dick and took pity on him. He asked Dick to come live with him and work in his house. Dick worked in the kitchen. The cook was mean to him, but he had clean clothes, enough food to eat, a place to sleep, and the merchant paid him a few pennies a day as wages. Dick slept in the barn, but the rats and the mice nibbled at his toes and kept him awake all night. "I know how to fix that," Dick said, and the next day he went to the market and bought himself a cat. From then on, Dick slept peacefully in the hay. The cat chased all the mice and the rats away. One day the merchant announced that he was going on a trip, and that everyone in the household had to contribute one thing for the merchant to sell on their behalf. Dick's only possession was his cat. "May I be excused?" Dick said. "I don't have anything to sell." "No, indeed," said the merchant. "Everyone must risk some possession for the chance at gain." Reluctantly, Dick gave his cat to the merchant. While the merchant was gone, the cook became even more cross with Dick and sometimes beat him with a spoon. Dick decided that was enough, and he left the merchant's home. When he was walking down the streets of London, away from the merchant's house, he heard the bells toll, and he could hear them saying, "Turn back, Lord Mayor! Turn back, Lord Mayor!" Dick took this as a sign, and he decided to return to the merchant's house. The cook was still cruel to him, but he felt that something good was going to happen, so he remained cheerful. Meanwhile, the merchant had traveled to a distant land to trade his goods. He met the king, who invited him to a feast in his castle. The king set a beautiful table, but as soon as they sat down to eat, mice and rats jumped onto the table and started nibbling at the food. The king was furious. He said, "I'll give a chest of gold to anyone who can rid me of these vermin." The merchant brought in Dick's cat, who quickly terrified the mice and sent them running for their lives. The king was overjoyed. True to his word, the king gave the merchant a chest of gold in exchange for the cat. The merchant was an honest man. When he came back to London, he told Dick about his good fortune and gave him the chest of gold that he had traded for Dick's cat. Dick used his money wisely and soon became the most successful merchant in London. Dick became so influential that he was made Lord Mayor of London, just as the bells had said. He and the kindly merchant who rescued him from his poverty remained fast friends for the rest of their lives. The end.